Inflation is at a 40-year high. We haven't seen inflation this high since 1981. Do you remember those days? Maybe you aren't old enough. If you're under about 50 or so, I remember. I'm older than 50. It's a big deal. How does inflation hurt you and your family? Suppose inflation continues to increase like a runaway train. What happens then? What happens when you can't afford gas or food or rent? How can you be happy in these difficult, tough, high inflation times? Live a happy, fun-loving, freedom life. Hello and welcome. Today we are talking specifically about inflation. Yeah, there are many things going wrong in the world today, that's for sure. And we would be challenged to just mention them all, let alone actually have time to talk about them. So today, inflation. How's inflation measured? And don't get worried, this isn't going to be a getting in the weeds kind of discussion. I simply want to state the basics. So please bear with me for a couple of seconds. Inflation is the increase in prices of the goods and services that we buy. And it's measured as a rate of change of those prices. And rate of change is like miles per hour. How fast the prices are going up in a given amount of time. But here's the deal. This is super important to you and me and every average person out there. They measure a basket of goods and services. There are many items in this so-called basket, which is great when you're looking at the big picture. But you, me, normal people aren't out there buying the basket of goods. What are the monthly inflation numbers? They be like April, 8.3%, May, 8.6%, June, 9.1%. The numbers are going up and up each month. We got runaway inflation right now. The inflation train has left the station and it's running down the track out of control. The thing is, you don't buy the basket of goods. What do you buy? You buy food to eat, you buy gas for your car, and you pay rent to have a roof over your head. Right now, at this moment, food's up 12.2%. The price of gas, depending on where you live, is up 40 to 60%. So let's say about 50%. Not June's number of 9.1%, 50%, and rent's up 14.8%. Now, this is going to vary based on your particular situation, where you live. But the point here, the things that you actually buy each week, the things every typical, average, normal person spends their hard-earned money on each week is way more than 9.1%. Yeah, things like clothing, women's, men's, kids' clothes, those things are actually down, which pulls down the overall inflation number. But you don't have to buy a dress or pants when money's tight, right? I mean, is this making sense? Are we on the same page? Let me know. How can you possibly be happy in these difficult, tough, high inflation times? I mean, seriously. How do you not let the crazy, out of control inflation world dictate how you live your life? Okay. How to be happy. Control what is within your ability to control. You, me, the neighbors down the road can't control the economy and fix inflation. It's not going to happen. But we can control, within reason, how much gas we buy. Make sure your car's in great operating efficiency, as possible. Things like the tires are inflated properly. Combine trips, plan your days better. Yeah, I know, it kind of sucks having to plan and not being able to just jump in the car and go. Adjust your food habits. Up to a few years ago, before the pandemic situation, we had a Thursday date day. Every Thursday, we ran our errands, did something kind of fun as a couple, and had a lunch meal at a restaurant. Back then, 2 lunch specials with, a coffee or a soda was around 25 bucks. And with taxes and tips, 30 bucks or so. Holy moly! This sure isn't true today. It's not even close. Sky-high prices. My primary camera quit running because it's 97 degrees here. It actually overheated and shut down. The fun of shooting video outdoors. We shop about once a month now, less if we can, and we pretty much never eat at restaurants now. We prefer to hang out here on our self-sufficient, simple life, country living homestead. Being happy, complain less, and appreciate more. Yep. Too many people look at self-sufficient, simple country living, being prepared, as living in a conspiracy world. The solution means returning to the standard of living back in the 1950s and 60s. Important. It means less globalization. Yes, less globalization. An example of globalization is the U.S. government allows chicken, poultry, raised here in the U.S. to be shipped over to China for processing and packaging, and then they ship it back here to be sold in stores. How crazy is this? If anything goes wrong, like the price of fuel going way up, suddenly it's too expensive to ship over to China, but we've shut down all of our processing plants here. Well, that's not crazy, right? Gee, I wonder why we have supply chain issues. We need to return to living local. This means people growing food in their own gardens the way life used to be and the way that life should be. It's going to mean making changes that most people are not willing to make yet. Societies all around the world have been breaking down for a long time. Recent events, the many things going wrong, have accelerated inflation and the failings of globalization. Globalization's failing. And now the Fed is starting to jack up interest rates to make people poor, to reduce the demand. If you're broke, you can't buy anything. Hey, how do you spell recession? Be happy, expect less, and then prepare more. Don't let the busy, crazy, high inflation world dictate how you live your life. You get to decide how you will live your life. Live a happy, fun-loving, freedom life. Freedom! Be happy, even in this crazy, rising inflation world.